Alright, what's going on, guys? Raul here, back at it with another update. And it's been probably about 3 months since my last update. My last update was on June of this year. And as a result, I have quite a few albums to show. I'm not going to show every album I've bought over the past couple of months because, you know, I've got quite a few right here and I really don't want the video to go on that long. Actually, some of these albums I got right here I've had since last year. I've had some of these albums for over a year now. Last year I went a good amount of time without making YouTube videos at all. So as a result, I still have albums from last year to show. Anyways, I got 2 LPs to show you guys, 2 cassettes, and about 4 or 5 CDs, mostly death, thrash, a little bit of punk metal, punk there as well. And as for me, you know, I've been okay, you know, just work, band practice for the most part, working out as well. Yeah, for the most part it's been pretty good, guys. Anyways, let's get on with the video. Alright, so for the first album I'm going to show here is the Germs debut album, GI right here. Old school punk, hardcore punk I guess you could call it. I don't know too much about punk, I just know that I like this album and it's punk. Beautiful blue vinyl right here. I bought this album about August last year, and like I said, I just went a good amount of time without making YouTube videos last year. Yeah, not a bad cover art. Wish they could have done a little more. It's a little too basic for my liking, but some really good songs here. Really no complaints about it. The quality, considering it's punk, is pretty good, and really my only complaint, I mean it's not really a complaint, but would just be the vocalist, Darby right here. Just his vocals just really aren't, I mean, the vocals kind of, I don't want to say they ruined the album, but they definitely just don't do it any favors, to say the least. I found out about this band from the documentary, The Decline of Western Civilization. Not sure if you guys have ever seen that movie before. If you guys haven't, you gotta watch all 3 of them. The second one was more of a metal one. The first one and the third one were more punk related, and that's where I heard of a lot of these punk bands, from that documentary right there. Pretty good stuff. If you don't mind just the, I hate to say it, but the god-awful vocals, you'll love this album, guys. Check it out if you're a fan of punk. And also Joan Jett produced this album too, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyways, the Germs GI from 1979. Alright guys, now for the next LP I'm going to show you here is Danzig's debut album from, I'm not sure which year it came out in. Honestly, I checked it and it didn't say which year. I probably should have checked it online first. I want to say 1990 was when this album came out. Just standard black vinyl right here. Nothing to see in the insert, like inner sleeve right here. I haven't listened to this album a whole lot, I'll admit. I have listened to it maybe about 3-4 times since I bought this album. I bought this album in the same time I bought that Germs album, so I've had this album since August and only listened to it about 4 times. So, yeah, I definitely probably should be listening to my stuff a lot more. Solid album. Danzig's vocals, you know, he was the singer for the Misfits for a while. And not a bad album from what I remember. Just not too much I can say about it. It's, I want to say it's metal, but at the same time it's got other elements to it too. I mean, this is a pretty well-known band and album, so I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already listened to this. I definitely got to check it out more, though. But from what I remember, it was not a bad album at all, though. Anyways, Danzig's debut album. Alright, so for the next album I'm going to show you guys here is the first CD I'm going to show you guys, and this album actually was probably my most listened to album from the summer this year. And that's 1988's Battalions of Fear by Blind Guardian. Now, in the summer of this year, I was getting really into power metal. I was listening to Halloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys quite a bit. And I told myself, you know what, I need to find more stuff that sounds like this. So I was looking up some power metal bands here and there. There were a few good bands. I got into Rhapsody, their album Symphony of Enchanted Lands. I really need to get that album. And I was looking for other power metal bands as well. I mean, I knew about Manowar as well. And I checked out a few other bands that I just couldn't really get into, like Iced Earth. For some reason, I just didn't really like them that much. I still gave them a shot, though. I might have to listen to more of their stuff, though. But anyways, I decided to listen to Blind Guardian. I had heard of them. I never listened to them prior to June of this year, I think. So I told myself, you know what? I'm going to check out their debut album. And the second I heard the first song, Majesty, I just fell in love with this album. I would say this was probably the best album I don't want to say discovered, but yeah, just for lack of a better word, this was the best album I discovered this year right here. Battalions of Fear by Blind Guardian right here. If you by any chance don't know much about Blind Guardian, which I doubt because they're definitely one of the bigger power metal bands, and most of the people watching my videos are into metal. But yeah, if by any chance you haven't given this a shot, it's basically just a more aggressive Iron Maiden. The vocalist, Hansi Kirsch, I believe is his name. I forgot what the vocalist's name was, but dude, just killer vocals on this album. I also checked out their second album, Follow the Blind, and that album just blew me away as well. This is definitely probably the best album I bought all year. I cannot stress how good this album is right here. I honestly can't believe I just started listening to these guys just a few months ago, honestly. It's like, what have I been doing? Have I been living under a rock? Awesome album right here, though. Probably one of the best This is the most recent album I've listened to that just left me like, whoa. You know, gave me that, wow, that's amazing, like, type of vibe, you know what I mean? Awesome songs here. Majesty. If you're going to listen to one song on this album, definitely check out Majesty. What else is there? Wizard's Crown. Run for the Night was good. The Martyr. By the Gates of Moria. The instrumental is one of my favorite ones here as well. Gandalf's Rebirth. That song kind of, I don't know, the production on that song in particular sounds a bit off. I don't know, compared to the production on the rest of the album. But awesome production. Super just relentless, heavy album. Really melodic. The vocals, I just love the vocals right here. I would like to do something like that as well for my band in terms of vocals. Killer album, guys. I wish I could keep on talking about this album, but we got more stuff to show. Battalions of Fear by Blind Guardian. Check it out if for whatever reason you have not. It'll blow you away. Alright, so for the second CD I'm going to show you here is Death's Human. I bought this album maybe a little bit before I bought that Blind Guardian album. I got that Blind Guardian album in July, probably got this one in June, early July as well. I was listening to a lot of death and just death metal in general earlier this year, and I was really digging, you know, just, I guess the melody in death metal as well, you know, because I would argue that death metal has a little more melody than thrash metal. It definitely gets more experimental than thrash, for sure. Beautiful little sleeve right there. I got the other death ones right there. I want to get the spiritual healing one and then just put that one right here. Yeah, I think that would be cool, because those are my, they definitely went a different direction on here, and this is actually what's playing in the background. I don't know if I already mentioned that. I try to keep it at a low volume, though, so, you know, to avoid copyright issues. You know how that can be, right? Awesome album. My favorite death album at the moment is either Spiritual Healing or Leprosy. I'm gonna go Leprosy, though. This album was awesome, though. I feel like it was a bit heavier, actually, than their other albums. I'm just gonna take out the little booklet to show you guys what's in here. A lot of little awesome pictures of the band right here. Chuck Schuldiner. Awesome old school death metal band right here, guys. I would argue this is my favorite death metal band right here. From what I heard, they never put out a bad album. I have Spiritual Healing on vinyl, but I'm probably going to end up getting it on CD. Oddly enough, like I said, just so I can put it up there decoration-wise as well. And those are just the little sleeves. So the CDs themselves, I got them in the little, like, my CD shelves right over there. I got to do a room tour one of these days as well, though. Have not done one of those. Awesome little stuff right here. A lot of little bonus pictures. Death was one of those bands that just always would change lineup right there. Chuck Schuldiner, obviously, since he was the founder, he's the only consistent member of the band. But awesome album. They definitely do go a different direction on this album. And I've listened to a few songs here and there from their later albums. And honestly, I gotta say that their Leprosy and Spiritual Healing was I guess the high point of death. Then again, it's too early to say. I haven't listened to their other albums, Symbolic, and what's the other one? It looks like it's like a red album cover. I don't know. I forgot what the name of that album was. Sound of Perseverance, something like that. I don't know. I gotta get those albums too before I can really make up my mind about Death. But from what I heard, Death is just one of those bands that never put out a bad album. Anyways, Human by Death, guys. Awesome album. Check it out. Next album I'm going to show you guys here is Death Shall Rise by Cancer. One of the most underrated old school death metal albums I've ever heard. I believe it's also from 1991. And just killer, relentless, super brutal album. I wouldn't really say it's that melodic compared to like, or experimental even. It's just relentless, straightforward, gory, heavy metal. I actually ordered one of the flags. I ordered a flag of this, and I'm going to be hanging it up in my room somewhere later on. We'll see where, but yeah, just awesome album. I've seen this album go CD-wise for like about $50 before, and I was like, that's insane. And then one day on eBay, I saw it for like $14, and I told myself, you know what, I'm going to pick it up. Because I've been this close to buying the $50 CD before, just because I love this album. And when I did get the album, though, I was a little disappointed at the artwork, though. It looks like they changed it up a bit from the original. It's still the same artwork. It just looks, I don't know, it looks a little cheaper. I don't think it's a bootleg. Pretty sure it's a licensed copy, but I don't know what they did with the album art, though. Definitely looks a little cheaper. Cool little stuff in there. I always like that. Those little extra pictures in there. Lyric sheet back there. If you're a big fan of old school death metal, bands like Morbid Angel, Deicide, who else? Death, Massacre, check these guys out. Cancer, Death Shall Rise. I still got to get their debut album. This was their second one. Alright, final CD I'm going to show you guys here is Creator's Terrible Certainty from 1987. Creator's third studio album right here. Creator is just one of my all-time favorite thrash metal bands. Pleasure to Kill. Alright, so the first Creator album I bought was Extreme Aggression. I have that one on cassette. I definitely want to get the CD version just so I can have all of them on CD. And after that, I think a year later, I bought Endless Pain. And that album took some getting used to for a while, but honestly, Endless Pain was a good album. A handful of good songs on there. A few of the other songs I didn't really care too much for. And then Pleasure to Kill, I got that one back in 2018. Yeah, almost this time 2 years ago I bought Pleasure to Kill. And that one blew my mind from the first time I heard it. I feel like Pleasure to Kill actually had slightly dirtier production than Endless Pain. Anyways, Pleasure to Kill was a killer album. Love every song on that album. Not a bad song on it. And then here's Creator's third album, Terrible Certainty. A lot cleaner production than their past two albums. I haven't listened to the bonus disc. I usually just listen to the album. I don't usually check out the bonus tracks. Yeah, Creator, though. They definitely cleaned up the production here. Millie Petroza, he sung, I think, almost every song. I think the drummer Venter only sung one song on this album. Yeah, that was the thing with Creator. They would switch vocal duties between the drummer and the guitarist. And on this one, Millie Petroza definitely goes for a slightly higher, more aggressive vocal approach right here. Awesome album. Definitely, I like Pleasure to Kill more, but I feel like Pleasure to Kill would be better if it had this production right here. Not to say this is a bad album. There's some awesome songs here. Toxic Trace, Terrible Certainty, obviously. The first song, Blind Faith, is awesome. Behind the Mirror. Not a bad song on it, but then again, there's a few songs that I'm just like, meh, they're cool. Oh, and just one little complaint. These remastered copies from Noise Records, right? My Pleasure to Kill and Endless Pain copy are like these hard cardboard ones, and this is more like a little digipack. Feels a little flimsier. Would have been cool if they kept that really hard cardboard type of material, but hey, it is what it is, though. It's the music we're here for, right? So that does it for the CDs, and now I'm going to show you the cassettes, and this is 2020's Mind Freeze by Haunt, one of the best releases from the year in my opinion. This year I didn't really buy too many new releases. Next year for sure I'm going to be getting into buying new albums for sure, albums of the year. I did order Hell Ripper's Affair with the Poisons, I believe is the name of the album. I ordered it. It should be coming sometime this month. Yeah, I definitely want to get more new stuff by new bands as well, you know, help support the bands. And that's what I did with Haunt, you know, I was listening to this album on YouTube for a bit, and I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna buy the album itself. And I got the cassette right here. Nice little black cassette right here. And actually, funny thing about this band, they're from Fresno. If you don't know Fresno, Fresno's about 2 hours north from where I live. It's not a huge town. It's a big city, but it's not a huge town like LA or San Francisco. It's just a pretty big town, so a little bit bigger than the town I live in. So it kind of gives me hope. I'm like, what? These guys are from Fresno? It kind of blows my mind away. Like, if you live in Florida or outside of the U.S. or just another state, you probably haven't heard of Fresno. But if you live in California, you know of Fresno. It's a pretty big town. But yeah, awesome stuff here. It's definitely traditional metal for sure. If you like Iron Maiden, you know, if I had to describe it, I'd say this is a melancholy version of Iron Maiden right here. Lots of dual guitar solos. The vocals are awesome. I wouldn't say the vocals are like Iron Maiden. They almost remind me of Angel Witch. I do need to get more new wave of British heavy metal stuff as well. But yeah, awesome album. Like I said, I would describe this as like a melancholy Iron Maiden right here. If you're going to check out one song, at least check out the opening track, Light the Beacon. Awesome song. A little bit of synthesizer here, nothing too crazy though. Awesome album though, Mind Freeze by Haunt. Definitely one of my favorite releases from the year. And like I said, next year I'm definitely going to be trying to pick up more albums, you know, from the year. New albums by new bands for sure. Awesome album though. Alright guys, so for the final album I'm going to show you here is The Dark by Metal Church from, what year is it? Let's see, 1986, so the year after they put out their debut album. Not sure if you can see, but I have the debut record right here. Funny reason why I have it up there though is because when I bought it, I didn't really pay attention to what was inside of it, and when I did put it in, I realized, you know, which songs are these, and it turned out The Dark was actually in the debut album, so this album was in that album cover, so that's why I have it hanging up there. I definitely like their debut album a bit more. On this one, they definitely do stray away a little bit from thrash and go like full-on power metal on some songs. They still get thrashy and super like aggressive and just angry here as well. The vocalist, David Wayne, just crazy stuff. I used to be really into Metal Church, and I actually bought this album, I think I bought this album June or July last year, actually, so yeah, I've had this album for well over a year now. And funny thing is, when I first bought the album, I didn't really listen to it a whole lot, but last month, September and October this year, I was really listening to this album quite a bit in the car. And like I said, you know, awesome songs, Ton of Bricks, Start the Fire, Watch the Children Play, what else, Western Alliance. Just awesome songs on here, guys. If you like thrash metal, power metal, and like I said, the vocalist David Wayne, he's no longer alive, but he could do some crazy stuff with his voice. Awesome album right here. I'll definitely be checking out more of Metal Church's stuff. I know they put out an album a few years back. And yeah, I'll definitely be checking out more stuff by them. Alright guys, that about does it for this update. I'm going to try to do one more update for the end of the year, just because I have a few albums coming in through the mail, and I kind of want to hit up my local record store. It's been a while since I've gone there, so I definitely just want to see what kind of, what stuff I can pick up. You know, I don't like going to the record store a whole lot, mostly due to the fact that if you go there a whole lot, you'll usually just see the same stuff over and over again, so I definitely like to wait a while just to see what else they get in stock. I got a few albums coming in. Like I said, I got The Affair of the Poisons coming in. I have Immortal's debut album, Pure Holocaust, coming in. I've really been digging a lot of black metal lately. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.